12 teams, 12 cities, the Pro Kabaddi League or the IPL of Kabaddi is back in its 10th season. 6 of the 12 teams have been previous champions. The defenders are the Jaipur Pink Panthers. I have the owner with me at this hour. Abhishek, thank you very, very much for joining us on the broadcast. What a ride it has been for you and your team. Twice champions in the first season and in the 9th season, which is last. I will talk to you about the 10th, but first tell me, you are a sports fan. Basketball, football have been your favorites. How did Kabaddi happen to you? Why did you think of investing in this sport?
About 10, 11 years ago, my dear friend, I'll be presumptuous enough to call him my friend, but somebody who I really, really admire and look up to, Mr. Anand Mahindra. Whenever we used to meet socially, we would love to talk about sports. He knows of my love for basketball, football, and cricket. And in one such meeting, he said, look, I know you're really passionate about sports and you've always told me about how you'd love to do something for Indian sport. I'm putting this league together called the Pro Kabaddi League for Kabaddi, and would you be interested in joining it? My first reaction was, Kabaddi, wow. Nobody was really thinking about that at that point of time. So I said, that immediately caught my interest. And I said, hey, this is interesting. All right, let me get back to you. And I went back and me and my team, just did a bit of background research. I played a bit of Kabaddi as a child. My father had taught me how to play Kabaddi in my backyard. And, then a bit in school, but it was all very casually, just amongst friends. And we actually went and I saw how modern day Kabaddi was actually played, and it was being played on colorful mats, and these athletes were amazing. And we managed to identify a match that was going on near my home in Juhu, Mumbai. And I said, okay, let me go check it out. It's Kabaddi. It'll be something small. And I went about 10, 15 minutes away from my home. There was a small local tournament going on. And I went there and there were about 10,000 people watching it.
No wonder you were blown away.
And the atmosphere firstly just blew me away. I said, oh, hold on. Before we even get to the gameplay, look at the amount of people that are watching this. This is amazing. And why don't we know about this? And why haven't we put this on the national stage? And that was it. I was sold. I said it kind of ticked all the boxes of the kind of work I wanted to do in sports. I'm a very passionate sports fan. I'm a very big patriot. I've always wanted to do something with Indian sports. And I said, hey, this is the ultimate thing. This is our sport. This is an indigenous Indian sport. It's rooted in our culture. It's rooted in our mythology. It has a fantastic story. It has a great history of its origins. This we have to do. And I remember I spoke to Mr. Mahindra and I said, hey, I'm on. And
very interesting, Abhishek.
And that's how the journey started. And then he sent, his brother-in-law, Charu Sharma, whose brainchild the Pro Kabaddi League was. Charu handheld us through the initial phases of just setting up the team. And there it was, July 2014.
It all started.
At the NSCI was the first ever match of the Pro Kabaddi League between the Jaipur Pink Panthers, which is the team that I own, and U Mumbai, which is a team owned by a dear friend of mine, Rodney Screwwala. And thankfully, the rest, as they say, is history.
Now, Abhishek, this is the IPL of Kabaddi. How can platforms like these transform indigenous sports and bring them to center stage?
Well, firstly, I think we should stop looking at them as a platform. We should start looking at them as an organized professional sports league. And a professional sports league, domestic professional sports league, what that does is brings exactly that, a structure, a professionalism, and like you said, then subsequently, a national and international platform to showcase the sport. Kabaddi is one of the most watched sports in India. It just never was, the limelight was never on it. And what the Pro Kabaddi League has done, and for that, full credit to Star Sports for putting their entire marketing might behind it. to bring it not just onto Star Sports, but in the initial years to put it on Star Gold as well, and just show the nation this sport. You know, to have millions of people tune in every evening and watch the sport is a huge achievement. And it's with great pride that we get to say, as part of the Kabaddi family, that the Pro Kabaddi League is the second most watched sporting event in India after the IPL. That is no mean feat. That's fantastic. And a lot of that credit has to go to Star Sports for believing in the sport. And obviously the sport is just so exciting. And it's wonderful to see the growth, to see the way the players have grown from season 1 to now season 10. They're all celebrities in their own right, you know, and they're just at the top of their game, and it's wonderful to see. So I think what's really nice is when you have an organized league, you have people that invest in those leagues. And when I say invest, I'm not talking about monetarily, that the owners do. The audience invests emotionally. You become a supporter. You become cheerleaders. When that happens, that kind of starts the whole wheel moving to bigger things.
Very true. Now, let us talk about this season a little bit, Abhishek. Your team, they're the defending champions. How have they shaped up for this season? And what would you say are the realistic expectations?
One of the worst things in sport is a 4-letter word called hope. Right? Sport has a wonderful way of keeping you humble. And as far as the team is concerned, I'm not going to say hope. I pray that, you know, we get to repeat our form from last year. We've pretty much retained 90% of the same team that we had last year. Reason for that being, last year we literally banked a lot on the youth. We went for a much younger team, which at that point of time was relatively unexperienced.
Right.
1 or 2 senior members to help, you know, captain the ship. And I think that gamble paid off. And here we are. We've retained almost 90% of last year's squad. 1 or 2 younger players that we have as future prospects that we want to bring in that we have.
Of you and the team.
And we'll take it from there. I have immense faith in the squad. I have immense faith in my coach and his staff. So we hope that we didn't want to, you know, shake up the apple cart too much. It's a team that gels very well together. They have great chemistry. They've understood how to play with each other. So we hope that we can maintain that and fortify that and build from there.
Now, Abhishek, you are investing in high performance. You are also building the talent pool. What is the talent pipeline in this sport looking like in the leagues, and when we talk about the India perspective as well?
What's really nice about the Pro Kabaddi League is that every franchise has also invested a lot in a grassroots program. Kabaddi has a thriving grassroots program on a domestic level. We have a team of scouts, which are, you know, our management hires on every year to go out there, see local tournaments, identify new talent that we feel have great prospects coming up. They get signed on to the team, they get trained by the team, and that is where the pipeline starts off. But thankfully, as a sport, because it's so old and has such a great infrastructure already, you have these wonderful kids coming through the programs, and then they get signed on and identified by the team and signed on to their junior leagues, to their junior teams. We have a junior team which temporarily plays whenever they have the time in different tournaments, and every team does this. So it's wonderful to see this kind of talent coming through. And you will notice as the years go by that the average age of most of the teams will start getting a lot younger. I think there's a wonderful aspirational quality that has been attached to the Pro Kabaddi League now with the sport of Kabaddi. I think the league has given them that. They've started seeing that, yes, this is a viable career option today. It's not just a sport that I can do on my free time or play it as a side gig. This is something that I can dedicate my life to and do. And I think the Pro Kabaddi League has shown them that.
I think it's very interesting what you say. Kabaddi made an aspirational sport through the Pro Kabaddi League. Abhishek, this is something that I would be really interested to know. What about a Kabaddi League for women?
Well, that's something that I have advocated a lot. Mashal Sports, which obviously runs the Kabaddi League, we attempted that in season 4. We had, not many people know, Kabaddi is one of the few sports where the women's team is comparable to the men's team in terms of talent. I think it would be amazing if I can use this platform. We've been speaking about it. The league has been speaking about it, but I would love, nothing would give me greater joy than to start a women's Kabaddi league as well. I'm ready to start it this season if they say so. I already have women identified. Our scouts look out for the women Kabaddi players as well. So I'm all for it, and I would like to wager to say it'll be a bigger success and even more exciting than the men's Kabaddi League.
That's really, really heartening to know. Abhishek, now talking a little bit about your films, Ghumar was great. Personally, I loved the story and the way it was told. Would you like to tell more sports stories through films now?
I'd love to. As a genre, sports films are one of my favorite because it's not about a sport. It's about the triumph of the human spirit. And I love that story. And that's what attracted me to Ghumar. It was an emotional story of retribution. It was an emotional story about never give up kind of an attitude with the backdrop of sports. I'd love to. I'd love to do something on Kabaddi, because I just think there's so many stories over there. I've been looking for, a story which would do justice to the sport. But I'd love to. Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's very interesting to know. Abhishek, I'll let you go, and all the very best for your team in the 10th season. Your team is one of those few who have been multiple time champions in PKL. Thank you very much for joining us.